We'd like to thank our sponsors, Yaral Pharma and the Independent Pharmacy Cooperative, better known as IPC, for sponsoring this episode.
You are listening to the global network of podcasters dedicated to the pharmacy profession. Welcome to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
Pharmacists from across the nation have come together to redefine the possibilities of what pharmacists can do together. The American Pharmacists Association's 2026 annual conference was hosted in Los Angeles, California, where pharmacy advocacy and advancing technologies brought together key industry leaders. The Pharmacy Podcast Network brings you into the conversation with this special three-part series of the APhA annual conference post-show.
Amazing event we had at the APhA 2026 in Los Angeles. I want to give a shout out to the team at Yaral Pharma for once again having us build our podcast press studio coverage right inside your booth. Stephen, Beckman, thank you so much for having us again.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Todd. What you guys have done with Pharmacy Podcast Network is truly impressive. And I say that first and foremost, not from the business side, but from the importance of delivering the content you're now delivering into the pharmacy channel. And there's no doubt that PPN has now created a tool, a channel, a rich level of dialogue that is helping the pharmacists and pharmacies and people influencing pharmacy that they didn't have just a couple years ago. So kudos to you and what you've done and what you built. And we are humbly grateful to be a part of it because we do believe that the pharmacy channel has always been underserved, is a channel that is going to see some unique advancements and renaissance, if you will, over the next couple of years, given all the dynamics and the delivery of healthcare. And we believe as a company that we need to be a part of that, first and foremost, by listening. Second, by participating, meaning that we're actively involved to dialogue with all the different dynamics and different elements within pharmacy so that then we can take that back and put that insight, that knowledge, that relationships to work internally to determine what's the best way to support our products so that they best support the patients that are in need for those particular products that we market.
Booth 601 here at the event has been quite busy. There's some connection back to Yaral Pharma again. Yaral was our premium, I don't know what we called ourselves, platinum sponsor for the Pharmacy 50. And we had 6 of the Pharmacy 50 show up for interviews here in the Yaral booth. And it was kind of special to extend what they did. You know, those programs called Where Are They Now?
Yeah.
Well, every single one of the people that showed up are not stopping. They have moved forward in some of their campaigns. They have built the largest union for pharmacy technicians. They have built brands for themselves where now products are coming to them as pharmacists and saying, we know that the public trusts you, as well as we know you have an audience of, Dr. Grant Harding, who won the Pharmacy 50. He's got 1 million followers on TikTok now.
1 million.
So yeah, so it's been fun being here. APhA has a buzz about it. The Redefining Possible was our theme for 2026. I see consistency from Yaral Pharmacy to be part of events like this, where you keep saying about how important pharmacists are and how underutilized they are, and you're showing up. You're not just saying it. You're not just on a podcast saying something to a bunch of listeners. You're actually showing up at these events. Your team is here supporting us. And that's important to be a part of the pharmacy ecosystem.
Well, you got to walk
things differently.
Yeah, you got to do things differently. You got to walk the talk. And I do believe that we're going to at least we are going to all the major pharmacy conferences and meetings. We've done it for the last couple of years. We're doing it this year, and we'll continue to do so as long as I'm here, because I have not found an argument to challenge our critical thinking around supporting pharmacy. So APhA is an important meeting. It's great to be able to, again, provide a platform for you and a space for you. It helps us and it helps you. But most importantly, to what you said, it is now creating this platform that is giving other platforms or individuals to have the visibility. And again, they might or might not have done that without PPN, but they're definitely doing it because of PPN. So the fact that you're kind of like the hub of the wheel. Yeah. Wow. It truly are. If everyone that you're enhancing and highlighting and complimenting what they're doing, and that's accelerating their ability to create an impressive, impactful, and positive platform, is just another spoke in the wheel of PPN.
I enjoy using something that's been built in order to empower a pharmacist or an organization to connect with other people. That's what this is about. That's why my business is not called the Pharmacy Podcast. It's called the Pharmacy Podcast. The word that's most important to me is network. Yeah. And it's a true network of you've networked with 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 of our hosts on purpose, because there's been subjects that they're subject matter experts that tie back to you. It ties back to your RAL. It ties back to your patients. It ties back to sharing a sense of responsibility, that there are different pieces of the puzzle for true ecosystem of pharmacy care. And you're part of this. Yaral's part of this. I'm part of this. We're the communications channel. So that's what this is all about. This is not about, building a moat around just your organization. It's about sharing and interconnecting. And I love it. So what's next up that we're going to be at? I know we go to NACDS Total Store Expo. I know we go to the NCPA that dedicates to our our independent pharmacies. What's next up that you can remember that?
Well, I think those are the big ones. We're also looking very closely now to get into some of the sub channels within pharmacy in terms of long-term care. And as some of those meetings start to develop a greater presence and so forth, we're going to continue to work with you on that summer program that we want to highlight independent pharmacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a good neighbor type platform. We really do want to bring awareness. Look at when you bring everybody up, everybody wins. And we need to bring up pharmacy. We got to make pharmacy more, let's call a spade. We got to make pharmacy more profitable for those independent pharmacists so that they can continue to keep their doors open, continue to serve the population at the high degree that they do with their patients. We need to be able to give them some sense of stability in that. And at the end of the day, the world works that way. If they can't make enough money to cover their costs, it's pretty hard to keep your doors open.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of challenges there. So we want to highlight the good things and the inspirational things and the great ideas, as you said, that are coming forth. We also want to make sure that we're tackling some of those challenges and how we try to fix it. And we're all a part of it. We can't get away with it. Drug manufacturers have to continue to try to find a way to make drugs as accessible as possible into the system. The system has to make them more accessible, both on cost and on volume, or the availability. And we got to make sure that translates down to the patient and to the pharmacist. But we always focus on the cost of the patient, but what we have lost in that translation a little bit is the cost or the cost of doing business to the pharmacist in order to do that. And sometimes I think historically the manufacturers get beat up a little bit harder because of the pricing, and there is pricing differences around the world. Fair market value and things come up a lot, and they have come up a lot with President Trump and all the tariffs that have been been talked about over the last couple of years, and some of that has been implemented. But what that really means is still everything's an apple to an orange, right? The way Europe works is different than the U.S. So the question is not so much to say, hey, let's just make prices equal. let's take a closer look at the system and how the system works, particularly in the U.S. And if we do that, we know that there's things that we can make better. And if we do that, then it'll translate, value will translate through the system, through the value chain, all the way from provider and manufacturer down to patient.
Stephen Beckman, CEO of Yaral Pharma, doing things differently. This has been wonderful. I want to give a shout out to our listeners. Thank you for listening to this multi-part coverage of the APhA 2026. A shout out to everybody at APhA that helped us get here. Thank you so much for the press badge, enabling us to be a free press and an independent press organization to cover events. It really shows the commitment to the profession and transparency and strength and sharing. And that's why I always come to the APhA.
Yeah, great organization, great event. And I guess we can finish on Happy Easter to all.
All right. Talk to you soon. Dr. Katie Forbes, Pharmacy 50, most influential all through social media. And every time I'm watching you here at the APhA, people are wanting selfies with you. You're like a hero.
I'm getting eaten up here.
You are. I'm so excited to have you in person. Been waiting. I feel like I know you already, but to see you in person and see you walking around and the energy that you put off, we need more Katie Forbes in pharmacy, really, is what we need.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought, but I think I'm more annoying in person. So good for you.
What is it? What do you think's happening in our profession that there's an acceptance of the forces of the Shane Jereminskis and the Maurice Shaws and the Katie Forbes, and like what's happening that we're finally getting attention that we need?
I'm still kind of new to all of this. I started posting in 2023. I feel like a lot of the people that are posting are like retail and community pharmacists. So I think the impetus for content creation for pharmacists seems to be just sort of a source for understanding and validation, because being a retail pharmacist is rough. It's horrible. It's brutal, and it's only getting worse. So I think people kind of need an outlet to kind of almost prove their worth and kind of show what we do as a profession, just because of how undervalued and disrespected we are on the daily basis. So I think I've kind of got the energy of like a community pharmacist. I'm like extroverted, and now that I'm kind of in the hospital setting, I kind of see why a lot of the content creators are really only like community pharmacists. So now I kind of have like that energy, and I'm putting it towards this different kind of space, and I'm learning pretty quickly, I think. And then I'm able to kind of like show other pharmacists like, hey, you don't have to do residency to go work in the hospital and be respected and have like this nice, like almost cush job, this nice position. It's like I could talk about my job for like a long time. I really, really love the hospital. But I wish there were more hospital pharmacists on TikTok, but I feel like the vibe for them is usually more like introverted and more of like reserved. And I will say the social media policy in the hospital is a lot more strict.
Yes.
When you're talking about like patient cases, it's easier to identify those patients. Just because of the complexity of care that you're providing and all of the information that you know about the patient. It's just too much. So I don't really advertise that on my TikTok. I don't talk about patient cases other than like maybe like a fake patient case or something like that. I kind of just roundabout way talk about intervention. So
if I would have backed you up, I would take you back in time 10 years ago, you would have been fired like 6 or 7 times already. But today, that's not the case. And you are now part of a generation that we're starting to accept some of our providers that are bringing things to the front, that are educating the consumer of, hey, that I'm calling bullshit on this. Here's what's really happening. And people want that, because now your followers, by the way, they'll tag you on all kinds of stuff that they want you to litmus test. They want you to test it. They want you to kind of give back, and then they trust what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's the end. That's the whole basis of a pharmacist.
They trust my judgment a lot.
Exactly.
I think my judgment is very sharp, both clinically and just because I'm on the spectrum. I don't know if you knew that. I talk about it sometimes on my page, but I don't don't really hold anything back. I'm kind of just authentic in who I am, and I say what I'm thinking. I do hold back a little bit because I want to keep my new job, but yeah, I'm very, very vocal about CVS and just everything that's everything. You can go to my page and look at it because it's evil. It's evil in the carnate form, and they're getting away with way too much, and they're destroying lives. The people that work there, the people that fill their medication there, it's horrible what they're doing, and it is a little bit of a liability for me to talk about it, even today, not even 10 years ago, because like, who wants to hire somebody that shit talks the previous employer? It's hard. It's hard to talk about. I've kind of stopped talking about it as much as I have, just because I don't want like so much negativity in my life. I want to kind of just move on, but I'll still like try to advocate and do maybe more legislative route stuff in the future. But I think I just want to focus on the good that I'm providing and everything at my like current position.
I feel bad for pharmacists who are passionate about being pharmacists, who enjoy their position with organizations that are now considered the bane of healthcare because of their business practices. And I can see a separation. Like when I think of CVS Health and I see of Aetna, their parent company, and the more of the evil side of it, which is all about the revenue and all about metrics in order to make more revenue, and all about churn and burn and fast food pharmacy and flip the burgers. That's so frustrating because that's not what pharmacists want. That's not what technicians want.
Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants it.
Other than these businessmen running healthcare companies.
Correct. Exactly. So now with PBM reform finally having the teeth that it does, Buddy Carter was supposed to be here. Representative, he's the state representative of Georgia. He's actually running for Senate now. He was supposed to be here. He actually couldn't be here because he's supposed to be doing something with a new vote that's coming out. But regardless, we need more pharmacists in politics that understand what's happening behind the scenes. And
it's hard.
I see a future for you in politics. I would say please wait for 20 years or so that we can get more Katie Forbes out to the patient. But with your knowledge of everything that you've seen, it's been a fire hose of knowledge that you've soaked up, that now you understand the system. You understand why it's evil. Like we can say, we can't stand CVS Health, but you give your listeners on TikTok and Instagram, you give them the information of what it is that you don't like.
And how it affects you.
How it affects.
And why they do it. Like it's kind of just how my brain works. I've always been really curious. And I'm kind of like a ground up like conceptual like thinker. Like I need to understand things from the ground up. That's why I talk a lot about medicinal chemistry and show a lot of my like notes, because that's kind of how I build concepts, because you can't just like sloppily memorize things. So the same thing I think is cross applied to like working conditions and things like that. I'm like, well, where did this start? Like, why is this happening? How can we change this? It's very, very hard to change. It's very hard to change. A lot of people still work there. People that leave are burnt out. They don't want to do anything with it. Not everyone has a platform. And then a lot of people leave and they're just like, it's not my monkey, not my circus anymore. I don't work there anymore. It's so much. It's like, I was also thinking about the Tennessee bill. When you're talking about PBM reform, CVS squashed Louisiana bills. Just fucking to smithereens, squashed it, their vertical integration bill. And they're doing the same thing with Tennessee. And the Attorney General's going after them again and finding them for this and that. And they're just doing the same thing over and over. It's crazy. You can't use, I mean, you can. Like, you should not be using patients' phone numbers to lobby, to push that, and then fearmonger and say your pharmacy's going to close down and you're going to lose these jobs. And it's like, if CVS hates it, it's probably a good thing.
A couple actresses that don't know anything, and then they're just being paid to say this.
No, there's content creators getting offered $13,000 to like just lie about this bill and fearmonger and have people, I don't know, like I hope Tennessee is going to pass it. I don't know, did it go to the Senate like a day or two ago or something? I don't know if there is a vertical integration bill or law like this, because it seems to be the first, to my knowledge.
If you go read the definition of something called Stark Law, and you apply it to Aetna owning pharmacies under CVS Health, it's against Stark law. So I have no idea how it's even come to this point that you can be an insurance provider, you can be the pharmacy, and you can have things in place that force your patients to use your pharmacy and then pay your pharmacies differently than you do a community or even your competitors.
It sounds skeezy, but it's likely legal through some loopholes. I thought Stark's law was hospital systems can't push you to a pharmacy. I thought that's how it was.
Yeah, I think Stark law in general means you can't be a provider and then say to use something.
Yeah.
And I would think that would be domed over an insurance provider and an outlet.
Now, if I were guessing, I would say it would be like a clinician, that kind of provider. I think insurance companies and PBMs are separate entities. So I think that's probably why they get away with it.
Yep.
So that's why Tennessee's so big. They're pitching a fit on it. Instead of playing like by the rules, they're just going to close all their pharmacies. So if they really cared about their patients, they would make it happen. They would keep their pharmacies open. There's a way to do that. There's a way to abide by this law that hopefully will pass and keep your pharmacies open and your pharmacists in their positions, but they just don't care about that.
But what that does tell us, Katie, is that they've built their business model on the bent way of doing it, and if they played on the same playing field that an independent or Walgreens or Rite Aid, now that Rite Aid's actually out of business, if they tried to play on the same playing field, they couldn't make it. And that kind of shows me what's behind the scenes.
Yeah, because they're making money off of people in pain. They're making money off of like screwing you over. Like the way that they're making money is like equal. And yeah, the only way to stop it is through like legislation.
Right.
Like you can make a union to kind of lighten the blow, but it's still very hard to start a union because they have intimidation tactics, retaliation, fear tactics, minute little policies that everybody's violating that they can just get on paper and kick you out for. Yep. Like it's almost impossible these days, like to have a union at CVS.
So what is your cadence of social media content? Because you're constantly putting content out. How are you managing your full-time position and then you're constantly putting content out?
I'm not working full-time. CVS, I left basically in like the end of February, March of last year, and I wanted to stay. I wanted to stay part-time at CVS, like maybe a few days a week or one day a week, because I couldn't let my team go and I couldn't let my patients go. I was there for 3 years. I built a community there. It was right next to my house. Like patients would come, like for me, they would come to the pharmacy looking for me, ask where the thick pharmacist at. No, that's right. And then, and like they trusted me. Like I had a lot of dialysis patients that would come in and ask me about their meds because like those are the ones that were catching like the wrong doses, over-the-counter stuff. So like I didn't want to leave my patients. They were bringing me food. Like I had a VIP club there, damn near. And then like my team, yeah, like we all struggle together. Like I'm a lover. My little heart. I can't leave my team. And I started at this hospital system, and I applied for a PRN position, an as-needed position. And like a week or two after I left CVS, my body just stopped working. I kind of just collapsed, like mental breakdown, like panic attacks nonstop, nightmares nonstop. And it lasted until November. CVS fired me in April because they said the hospital was a conflict of interest. So they're pulling out of their ass saying they own Aetna and the hospital system doesn't use Aetna. So they dropped me. They threw me away because I was trying to start a union, I think. I was a squeaky wheel. I didn't get any grease there. So I've been working 2 days a week at the hospital because I just can't. I was so scared to go to work because of just like, I was scared to go to work every day, like at CVS, but it felt different because I was running on adrenaline. So when that wall came down and all my adrenaline just left, I couldn't handle more than a couple days a week. And I was scared of my boss, scared of everything, just terrified to go to work, and I couldn't think and I couldn't focus because I was just so scared. And up until like maybe a couple months ago, I've started to like kind of feel safe at work. And it's like my team is amazing, my boss is amazing, my like community that I'm building there is just amazingly supportive, and it's just like a complete 180 from what I'm like used to. Like having that appreciation, like my boss being like, no, I want you to take a 30-minute lunch, and just people ask me how I'm doing, and it's just like, I can't believe it. Like the hospital appreciation pitch-ins, and we had an Easter egg hunt last year, and we had like so much. We had Valentine's Day gift bags, and it's like you can like call off and you can everyone's switching shifts with people, and it's not just like a rat race there.
Yeah.
So I'm hopefully in a month or two gonna bump up to 3 days a week, and then go from there. Hopefully maybe next year, in 2 years, I can do full time. But that's how I've been managing like content creation, is like I haven't really been working a lot. I think I've learned a lot and relatively quickly for the amount of days that I've been there. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back, but it was very hard not doing a residency and starting in the hospital, and starting like honestly in a collapsed state it was so humbling. Oh my God. I think I don't want any more humbling experiences, please. I think that was enough. But yeah, I'm not leaving the hospital. I'm not leaving that at all. It's my team, and hopefully I have like a 5-10 year timeline of like I want to work full time eventually for a few years. I want to specialize, maybe at least pick up EC or ICU ED shifts, kind of learn that. I want to do more pain management, because we have a pain management pharmacist. Yes. He's the first position in our hospital system that is like pain management focused, and that's like a newer BCPS certification as of like a year or so ago. So I want to do more on that. I want to maybe go and dip more into pharmacogenomics. So I have like a few special interests once I kind of like really like hone in my like clinical skills there. So I have a lot that I want to do once I have my second wind here.
Now your platform continues to grow. Mm-hmm. You and I are part of a pretty tight community online where the social media, influencers are doing things. There was a big controversy about pharmacists taking money from organizations and it becoming less clinical-based and less evidence-based and more about just an opinion in order to push maybe a product. I think there's a balance between taking money from an organization as long as you're forthright with your followers, and then of course continuing to be evidence-based. But as your platform grows, you're going to be given an opportunity to make some money through representation of product services maybe. So what is your opinion of that? How do you toe the line so that you can stay truthful as a pharmacist, but then you can take money too?
So I've been offered like a lot of brand deals, like some supplement stuff, and like I don't know, like I have done a few brand deals. The one that comes to mind are compounded GLPs. I do brand deals with companies and products that I believe in. Okay. And I will sit here and tell you, yes, I believe in compounded GLPs. I worked outpatient. I saw people not affording their medication. I saw people forking over $1,000 for their Ozempic. I saw it, like, with my eyeballs. I saw them going without their medication or sending over half of their, like, income for their medication. So when these compounding pharmacies opened up with the back order, I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then I got an opportunity to do brand deals. Someone reached out to me and I was like, absolutely. I've been thinking about making videos about this actually, because compounded products are they're legit. They're legit. A lot of some pharmacists don't agree with them because of the meningitis outbreak. But after that created 503A, 503B, and they are regulated to an extent. Like 503A requires prescriptions from providers. And I think telehealth is really, really, really picking up. And I do think those compounded GLPs, I think, are pretty legit. They have to follow USP guidelines if they're 503A registered. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but there's just a lot with this. Came off a back order, and Eli Lilly and Novo are now suing all these compounding pharmacies, and they're mixing it with B12, and they're creating all these studies with maybe it's impure with B12, but it's methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin. There's just so much fear-mongering from these drug companies because they're stealing their revenue, and they're beating them at their own game, honestly. Yeah. They're forcing them to drop the price. That's why we saw Lilly Direct. I don't know if that's still a thing, but I do like compounding pharmacies. It's easy for patients. You can sign up for it. You get it right to your door. I know there's a lot of pharmacists saying, well, what about the patients are not getting monitored, they're not seeing their providers. It's not supposed to be a replacement. You should still probably see your provider. And I'm more so on board with GLPs with weight loss, because diabetes is such a complicated disease state. I wouldn't really feel comfortable being if you have diabetes and you need your Ozempic, get it through here, unless you're being monitored by your endocrinologist, because you have those retinopathy, neuropathy, and kidney issues and stuff like that. But I only pick up brand deals that I support, and I got lucky that a GLP company kind of picked up with me. But I also do my due diligence, because I'm okay, is this what compounding pharmacy do you use, Strive or Greenwich? And I'm okay, let me talk to the people that work here. Let's talk to the pharmacists here, and they do stability testing on their products, and it's legit. They're compounded by pharmacists, and they get their products from FDA-approved wholesalers. It's like it's not super complicated to make either, but yeah, I made a few videos on it.
Yeah.
It's not like they're making like, I don't know, MABs or some crazy biologics or something. They're just getting the API and, I don't know, diluting it, stabilizing it. I don't know. There's not a whole lot.
Hey, if listeners don't know or don't follow you, how do they follow you, or how do they get a hold of you?
I'm on every platform. I don't want to say every. I'm not on like Twitter and stuff, but like TikTok is my main platform. I started posting on Facebook when TikTok was going to go away, yada yada yada. So Facebook is my second biggest. I'm on Instagram, that hasn't had a lot of speed on it, and I'm on YouTube. I only have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, whatever. But yeah.
And it's your favorite pharmacist?
Yeah, your fave pharmacist, or like Dr. Katie Forbes.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So good to have you. I cannot wait to have you back. I'd love to have you on Twerk sometime so we can scuttlebutt about things. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
As frontline healthcare providers, pharmacists like you understand the importance of personalized care, especially in acute pain management. Yaral Pharma is dedicated to providing high-quality, generic products tailored to meet your patient's needs. The company aims to serve a diverse range of patient populations, including athletes recovering from intense training, weekend warriors managing minor injuries, and those seeking a practical and mess-free option for acute pain management. Keep Yaral in your toolbox of pain management options and join the ranks of pharmacists leading the way in personalized care. To learn more about Yaral Pharma and its products, including full prescribing information, boxed warnings, and important safety information, visit yaralpharma.com. That's YARAL, pharma.com, and connect with them on LinkedIn.
Look who we ran into at the RxRated podcast in the booth here at Yaral Pharma at the APhA 2026. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
What's up? Thank you for having us. We're really excited to be here. Bump into you, Todd.
Freaking awesome. I saw you guys got the shirts on. Shirts look amazing. You guys did some precursor out of the hotel room. It was like a little kickoff saying that you're coming down to the APhA show floor. But talk to us about what's happening. What are you guys excited about here in Los Angeles?
I'm most excited to see these guys and get in a little bit of trouble, a little bit of rated RX trouble, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. We're always down to have a lot of fun and meet a lot of people. We're here to network and have a good time.
Yes.
And we didn't get to see each other in person. We're doing it all online, so it's good to get together. Even though these two guys live pretty close to each other, I had to fly in. But yeah, getting to be here, looking at a lot of AI stuff that I was surprised at, and knowing that came on. So kind of seeing some of those lectures on how we're integrating AI into pharmacy seems exciting.
Yeah, we have an AI client, TJM Labs, that is a pharmacist. He started the organization. Now they're a big organization, and they can quickly implement workflow depending on what the pharmacy's looking for, which I really like that thought. I like pharmacists leading things from a pharmacist perspective. So where do you guys all live? I thought that you guys were all close together, but where do you live at?
I'm up in Oregon.
Okay.
I'm here in LA.
I'm in San Diego.
Holy cow. So you guys are really spread out. And for the listeners that you don't know, RxRated podcast, you guys started, 2 years ago?
Roughly a year ago.
Okay.
We're coming up almost a year, yeah.
And then they joined the PPN. We've been pushing out your content. You're getting a lot of great listeners per episode. I love the collective, and I love the eclecticness of your content, where you're just doing a whole bunch of different stuff.
Thank you. We've been trying a lot of stuff out, seeing what works best. A lot of trial and error. That's kind of how we do things. But yeah, thank you all for listening. If you guys have any suggestions, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
kind of trial by fire. We're just out, just putting as much content out there we can. We're learning as we go, and we'll just improve as we go.
What content has been the biggest draw from a listener perspective? What have you guys talked about that you saw a peak in downloads?
Recently, retatrutide, so some GLP-1 stuff that's kind of been on the gray market. Peptides, people that, it's not really FDA approved yet. People still want it. Saw some studies done, phase 2, phase 3 trials, and they're getting really excited. And trying to get their hands on it before it becomes, approved by the FDA. So a little scary because, they're research-only stuff that they're getting a hand of, online, not going through provider. Seeing great results, and I think that's kind of the problem of if this guy on here, this TikTok did great on this, so I think I should get that too. When it still has a little bit more work to do through clinical trials, which is all about safety at that point.
I forgot for listeners' perspective. Now that they're driving in their car, they're walking, they don't know what the heck's going on. You have to each of you introduce yourself to the listeners.
Yeah, go for it.
My name is Robbie Abasi, founder and starter of Rated RX podcast.
What school did you go to?
I went to Creighton University, where I met these two fine guys, both in character and looks, we'll say. How about that? And here we are at APhA, just trying to spread the good word about what we're doing. Aside from the podcast stuff, I don't want to say explicitly where I work. You can find that on my LinkedIn if you're really curious. But I work at a Lock Psychiatric Hospital, and that's loads of fun. Did not know I was going to get into that, but I love doing it. It's a great time.
You're up.
All right. I am Xavier Hill, clinical pharmacy specialist, co-founder of the podcast. Loving this here. I'm also a geriatric pharmacist at the VA here in LA. Other than that, I'm trying to do a little side business on the side as well, working as a caretaker for, not caretaker, but I'm helping manage medications for caregivers or elderly patients who don't really know how to manage their medications, and kind of help with those transitions of care post-hospital, or just like whenever the doctor changes medication to multiple doctors. It's helping them get more organized so they can have better adherence and they can get better. So that's some of the things I'm working on the side as well.
Sam.
And I am Sam Llona, also pharmacist, Creighton. We all went to school together, had a good time there. My specialty is sterile compounding, so the retatrutide stuff. I'd get in clinic, a lot of questions on that, people wanting to get into that and know what these peptides are and sterile compounds. So board certified in that, and that tends to consume my day of people wanting to know about human injectables.
So I know from running a podcast, I used to do Pharmacy Podcast Network all by myself up until 2019, where I started having my brother do some of our editing, and now he's our full-time producer, and now I have two other people that are working with us. So I can only imagine with your full-time jobs what it takes to produce a good show. So talk to us about that cadence. Like, how much content are you guys putting out for Rated RX, and what's that like?
Okay. It's a lot of work. We currently do one episode a week, but there's some discussions about us dialing it down. Have another kid on the way, so I don't know how feasible it is to do one a week. But I use a lot of online resources to kind of streamline everything. A lot of looking on Google Trends to figure out what people are looking up online, what they're interested in, so we can build a good episode of what people actually want to listen to. And then, Love AI helps me with all my note-taking, all of my descriptions for videos. The hardest part of everything is the social media. As you know, Todd, it is a lot of work. Clipping together a good video, finding the right time to post it, finding the right hashtags. It's a lot of work. So Todd, I really empathize with you, man. It's whew. So any tips? I would love to hear it. I use a lot of scheduling planners, so I just sort of spend one day out of the week front-loading everything, and then it just sort of automatically pushes things out based on a schedule, and that's super helpful. If anyone's interested in starting a podcast and doing social media stuff, that is the way to go if you want to still be a present family person at home
which is very important
while running a podcast. But it's very rewarding, it's very inspiring. Wouldn't have met Todd if it had not been it, and Todd's a great guy and definitely a mentor in a lot of ways, I'll say. He probably won't admit it, but I'm going to say it. And so if you're thinking about starting a podcast, he's the guy to reach out to. You can reach out to me as well. Happy to help you get started.
What do you like about podcasting, Xavier?
I really enjoy just talking to these guys. It's like fun just having a conversation with your buddies about different topics that's trending in the world right now. and letting the people know what they actually want to hear, breaking things down for them, helping them understand things better. But also just having a good time, expressing yourself. It's like a release. It's kind of like therapy for me. I just get to release. I'm a very energetic guy, so sometimes at work I'll be so serious all the time and pent up. So this allows me to really release a lot of energy that I have built up and really express myself and have a good time.
What about you?
I think it makes me to go on to Robbie's kind of an initial vision of what he wanted, and it being a little more fun and relaxing compared to just dry CEs that people are doing and going through. So trying to give a little upbeat for people that are in our same kind of setup we're in pharmacy, and maybe burn out or the grind of having to deal with patients. So trying to give a little bit more to those our colleagues, I guess, who are going through the same thing, and a little lightness to their day.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you guys. You've brought, listen to me, you've brought a new element of content to the network. We so much appreciate you. Always make me laugh, and you're doing it with education too, because I learned something when I listen to you guys. And I'm not the pharmacist, so I'm always listening out for what the pharmacists have to say, but appreciate the three of you. And if you haven't subscribed to the Rated RX podcast, please search Rated RX podcast. You'll find it, or it's RxPodcast.com, right?
RX Media.
Rated RX Media. Oh, they're turning into a media company.
We're expanding a little bit.
Expanding. Well, we love it. Here at the APHA 2026, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
Later.
Independent pharmacy is the heart of community care. At Independent Pharmacy Cooperative, we believe your success strengthens the health and well-being of the communities you serve. As the nation's largest member-owned GPO, IPC helps pharmacies thrive with competitive pricing, profit sharing, and the support of a team who shares your vision. Let's build the future of independent pharmacy together and gain the freedom to farm. Visit IPCRX.com to start the conversation with an IPC representative today.
Katlyn, here at the APHA 2026. Introduce yourself to our listeners.
I'm Katlyn. I'm a first-year pharmacy student at the University of Montana, but I did my undergraduate education at the University of Connecticut.
First question, why do you want to become a pharmacist?
I want to become a pharmacist because we're the most accessible healthcare professional, but we also get to know our community like no other profession can.
Yeah, the trust level, because I think it has to do with how many times you're seen. They say for every time a patient is seeing their physician, they're seeing their pharmacist 9 times more. And I think that familiarity builds trust.
Oh, absolutely, it does. We see them more often than not. We know what they're going through. We know when they have a loss of someone they know. We know everything about them. Where their doctor only has 20 minutes with them, we have hours a week. So
if you think of the realm of pharmacy, it's so different. Like if you would have become a pharmacist 20 or 30 years ago, you might go into the hospital system, you might go into community, but now we're talking about medical science liaison. We're talking about pharmacists that are getting into AI development. We're talking about there's so many things that are happening. When you are now seeing, now you're here at the APHA, this is an amazing event for you to come to get an idea. What part of the pharmacy sector interests you the most?
So I actually want to do something a little different that's not really talked about. So I have a background in environmental science. So I'm really interested in making pharmacy sustainable. I think a lot of the times the pharmaceutical industry hurts the environment with how they manufacture things. So while we're helping one patient, we're inadvertently harming another person by harming the environment. So I'm kind of looking at that intersectionality and trying to fix it.
That is wild. That's awesome. So there's a company I'm going to give a shout out to. I want you to look up called, have you ever heard of Parcel Health?
No, I haven't.
So Parcel develops a container that is biodegradable instead of it being plastic. I forget what they make it out of, but yeah, they're all about the environment. So that might be actually an internship or something that you could hook up with Parcel Health. But I think that that's an interesting play, because if the manufacturer started having a pharmacist on staff that then was tied into environmental protection, it goes hand in hand.
Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah. I mean, even ethically as well. We want pharmacy to be ethical, and a lot of people don't like the pharmaceutical industry because it's not ethical. So I'm hoping to also change that perception.
So another shout out, we just had somebody on the show earlier, Dixie Lecoq with PureRx, and Dixie is part of the APHA's kind of mindshare team, and she develops programs and CE all about ethics. So definitely link up with Dixie as well. So I have
great.
two people. You have to look up Parcel and you have to look up Dixie Lecoq.
Perfect. I'm definitely going to do that. This conference is made for those connections, so I'm super excited.
Well, I hope that you will follow the 40-plus podcasts that are on the Pharmacy Podcast Network. We have pediatrics, we have geriatrics. We don't have anybody in environmental science, though, so if you'd ever like to come back and give us some insights of things that you've discovered, I want to invite you back to the platform to be able to share that with our listeners.
Oh, yeah, I would love that. You know, I'm a student, so I'm still figuring it out, trying to do social media as well, so just figuring it all out, but I'm happy to talk about it.
Well, that's how you start. You have to, I always say to young pharmacy students, you have to start a blog or you have to start some type of social media or something to track your journey in pharmacy, but then to give back to people that are following you as well. So I think what you're doing is awesome. So
thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a journey. Like your next guest, like we met online and now we've met in person today and yesterday. So it's just great.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
My name is Sakhi. I'm the CEO of CuraVoice, and you're listening to the Pharmacy Podcast.
Listeners, I am so excited for you to hear the next interview with Sakhi Patel, entrepreneur, pharmacist, someone that's just inspiring to me, and her dedication to education and doing it just a slight different way. Sakhi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me again.
All right, so what year of school are you in right now?
So I'm in my third year.
That's crazy. You're so dynamic, and at such a young stage of your pharmacy career, you've already accomplished so much. Talk to us about this platform, CuraVoice, and how special it is, and why I'm so excited about it in helping pharmacy students get more out of their education track.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit about CuraVoice. We're basically an AI platform that helps healthcare students practice patient interaction. So it was really built from my learned experience as a pharmacy school student and kind of where I saw the most gaps in our education. And one of those biggest gaps was in communication training. So one of the biggest things that we really wanted to do was create a safe space for students to practice talking to patients. So our bot pretends to be a patient, and then students can talk to it, counsel it through a medication, and then get real-time feedback on their performance and their empathy. And then to make it more of a learning loop, we added some study tools. So if the student uploads their lecture slides, they get custom quizzes, flashcards, concept maps, whatever they need to help really drill that information in so that they can become better providers and better explainers tomorrow.
Yeah, I think of the intensity of what you're learning, the science, the math, anything that goes in it. It's very black and white. However, what you're helping a student understand isn't always black and white. And sometimes, like you said, the empathy part of it really helps them to understand bedside or curbside or counterside, and being able to really talk through something with a patient. And therein lies one of the most important aspects of being a pharmacist is the communication aspect of it. So that's incredible.
Thank you.
So talk to me about how you can see this integrated into all pharmacy education and taking it. When would you say a pharmacy student starts to use the platform?
Right. So ideally, they would start using it pretty much their first year, just to kind of already get into that loop of, I'm going to have to one day talk to patients and explain these things out loud. And right now, we're also working on expanding the tool to not just pharmacy students, but to technicians and technician training, because I know when I was a technician, one of the biggest things that was the hardest thing for me to explain was insurance, right? When a patient comes in and they're like, why is my copay $500 when it was $90 last month, right? We have to be knowledgeable in those things and explain it, because, yeah, from the patient's end, it is frustrating when those things happen. So we really wanted to make sure we're able to cover all the bases, and that is one of them. So technician training, and then we're looking to expand into other domains of pharmacy workers as well. So really, we're just trying to cover as many bases as possible where communication, and effective communication at that, is involved.
So what has this taught you about what has being an entrepreneur taught you about the pharmacy profession and the gaps of what it takes to build something and actually get something from concept to actually something that can be used?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like the worlds are really intertwined of pharmacy and entrepreneurship, more so than I think one would initially realize. As a pharmacist, our whole job is to identify gaps in our patients' care and really make sure that we're the ones to fill those gaps, to address those things. And so that's exactly what entrepreneurship is. You look at a system or you look at an industry and you say, hey, what can we do better to make people's lives easier? And you come up with a solution. And of course, scaling and all the effective ways of doing that and marketing, those are all things that kind of you learn as you go along. You make a few mistakes, but you learn from those, right? But I think at its core, pharmacists and entrepreneurs do a lot of the same thing. So it was really a pretty easy transition for me, at least personally.
Right. There's some pharmacy students that are listening right now. They're curious. Where do we learn more about CuraVoice? How do I get a hold of the system or start using the system or even engage you?
Yeah, so if you go to CuraVoice.com, it'll take you exactly to where our tool, you can make an account and such, and then of course the website has some more information on the tool itself. Right now, specifically for APhA, if anyone's listening, we're doing a giveaway/scholarship for students because we really want to give back. So if you go to apha.curavoice.com, you'll get information on our giveaway and scholarship as well.
That is awesome. All right, say that again. It was APhA.
apha.curavoice.com, or you can come to booth 823 if you're here. We're here all day.
All right. Sakhi, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.